Okay. So once upon a time, 55 years ago, there was a boy in New York who loved going to the theater with his father. His father was a theater critic, and he loved it when everything went dark in the theater, pitch black. And then lights came up on the stage and something happened. It was such a thrill. So then I went to college, and it seemed a way to make a living was to document performances with a video camera. And this is going back to the 1980s when there was no smartphone. It was VHS on the low end, and you had your camera and the recorder as two separate pieces. So my parents sported me a set, and I made a living pretty much for a number of years with a partner, Eric and Company Video. We videotaped performances because every performer needed a recording for their grant application. So did that, but also recorded weddings and legal proceedings. So that went on. But then I went back to school and earned a master's degree. And especially I studied at New York University's Interactive Telecommunication Program in the early 90s. But even then, I already knew about video conferencing. There was a company called 8x8, which sold these devices which you attached to your phone. This is in the USA. You attached it to the phone on both sides, and you could video conference through the phone on your TV set on both sides. So that was the early 90s, and I just fell in love with video conferencing, just as a way to have meetings and have art events, collaborative art events, performance events. So, and of course, it was my first visit to India in 1988. After 10 years of trying, I got to spend time in India, and was here for a couple of years, went back to the USA, completed master's degree, started teaching, and I really fell in love with teaching. From 96 to 2002, I taught 11 courses as an adjunct professor, including the history of USA drama and the modern short story. Well, everyone in the USA knows that adjunct professors are totally exploited. You know, we have no health care, we have no job security, we're just hired by the job, but it worked for me. I adored it. I really enjoyed it. So then I decided to do a PhD in folklore in nearby Philadelphia. And I came to India again in 2002 for my fieldwork with some tribal people in the southern mountains. And I just stayed. I came back to Chennai and stayed. But the thing is that from the mid 90s, that's what, 25 years ago? 25 years ago, I loved video conferencing. My website for 20 odd years has been storytelling and video conferencing. My storytelling teacher said, what? We're in storytelling to get away from all those contraptions. And I said, well, no, there's physical presence and telepresence. My storytelling teacher said, there's only physical presence. Telepresence is don't talk to me about telepresence. It doesn't exist. Likewise, my professors in folklore, Roger Abrams, Dan Benamos at U of Penn, they thought video conferencing was for shallow self-promotion. They wanted nothing to do with it. And I said, oh, professors, the folk now are doing their folk activities through video conferencing. They said, get out of here. They didn't want to hear it. So both in the field of storytelling and in folklore, I was the odd, queer, ugly duck out. And then the pandemic hit. I was so ready. This was in March 2020, you'll all remember. In February 2020, Laura Sims, my teacher, came to Chennai and did 4 days of workshops. It was a sensational training. And then right after that, the pandemic hit. And I was ready. I immediately, I don't know if any of you were there, but I gave 2 workshops for storytellers in using Zoom. And in May, I organized a 24-hour storytelling extravaganza. Some of you probably led workshops in it or told stories in it. That was May. That was 2 months after the pandemic hit. Just to show we're not taking this lying down. But it was, you know, with all the horror of it, economic horror and physical horror, it played into my hands so totally as a video conference worker, video conference artist. I cannot tell you. My dream of storytelling and video conferencing came true. And so that was in May 2020, and then February 21, February 22, February 23. We've had these events which I've just done to show it can be done. And you might have noticed there's been no charge. I apologize to the trainers, David, Barry, everyone else, Judy, nobody got paid. I didn't get paid. Nobody paid because I'm no good at setting up websites where people have to pay. And for various reasons, for those years, I didn't really need to make money. But times have changed. Today marks the end of an era of these just wide open space, hippie, sprawling festivals. I can't do it anymore on various levels. So next year there'll be a smaller number of workshops grouped by theme, and one will have to pay money to attend some of them, and the trainers will get paid a little bit of money. I apologize. It's coming back to the real world, but I feel I've helped usher storytellers and story lovers into this new age we're in. We're in a new age. It's the age of video conferencing. It's the age of I also call it it's the great dispersal. Some of us will be going out on spaceships soon. We'll be working remotely from your home, from the beach, from Mars. But we'll be video conferencing with each other. So I feel that I've helped to bring storytelling into the Zoom age. The storytelling by and for adult series that I've run for 3 years, we'll continue that. We'll continue that for free. That'll be on the first Monday of each month, beginning in May. So we'll continue that at least for another year. But the Chennai Storytelling Festival is going to undergo a big change. For one thing, we have about 55 professional storytellers in Chennai. So a lot of them are going to step up and organize elements of the festival, and I will assist, but it's not going to be like it was. You might notice this year there were 64 or 5 90-minute workshops, and yes, because I love workshops. Last year it was absolute overload with 145 individual storytelling performances. This year there are very few performances, but I announced a little contest because I felt bad. People said, I want to tell a story in the festival. I want to tell a story. So I said, okay, make a recording and send it in. And the winner gets to attend my upcoming workshop, which begins on March 12th. So I'm just going to do a screen share for one moment and show you the winning recording. Screen share. Okay, you'll get an email about all this, so don't worry about it. But it's in the library. These 9 people made recordings and sent them in. Shilpa, thank you. Kamaswari, Padma Rangaraj, Padma R, Neha Ketan, Faye Mogensen, Grain Delaney, Shukrita Sankaran, the Mumbai storyteller who is here at this meeting itself. But a small committee has given the prize to Padma Rangaraj, who's not here. The criteria was a very vague criteria of the most touching. And Mani Mehali, as some of you might know, is the daughter of Madhavi and Kovalan. Kovalan was married to another woman, and he had an affair with Madhavi, who was a dancer. So the Mani Mehali was a daughter of this difficult, complicated situation, but she handled it gracefully. She actually became a Buddhist monk eventually. The daughter did, as well as Madhavi the dancer, also became a Buddhist monk. Here, let me just show you a moment. And one thing I learned from this performance was Mani Mehali says that her mother Madhavi said, really, Mani Mehali, you have 2 mothers. I'm your biological mother, but Kannagi, the wife of your father, really is your spiritual mother also. So I felt that was very touching. Let me just play a moment of this. Here it is. Oh, I'm not sure if I didn't get the sound. Just a second. Screen share, share sound, open. Here we go. Whoops.
Experience of my life with you. I could possibly.
I'm going back to the beginning. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm about to share an experience of my life with you. I could possibly leave you with questions or reflecting thoughts. I am Mani Megalai, the daughter of Kovalan and Madhavi. Actually, my mother used to tell me that I was Kannagi's daughter as well. You will know why as we proceed. I was named after the goddess of an island called Mani Megalai Deva. I'm sure you'd have heard a lot about my parents. Let me take you through a little flashback. The story I heard about my father before my birth. My story belongs to the ancient city of Bumbuhar.
Okay, I'll just stop it there. That storyteller, Padma Rangaraj, spent a lot of time working on this, and showed me various versions of it. It was a real labor of love for her, and so she gets a free ticket to a workshop. Okay, I think I just about said what I needed to say. Again, I feel that in these 4 events, in May 2020 and then February 21, 22, 23, we have launched into a new age together, the age of storytelling and video conferencing. So thank you, everyone. And the floor is open for any comments or questions or statements or protests.
Well, I'll be the first, and I know I won't be the last. I will just say to you, Eric, the gift you have given us, those who have performed, but also those who've given workshops, was that a gift? Yes, I understand we have to change, and I understand why, but I was given as much through the experience of sharing and working with people with my workshops on such a diverse level. Like I had people from all over the world that I was sharing my workshop with. So yes, I may not have been given money, and that's always nice, but it's not the heart of this for me. The heart of this is that I was given this rare opportunity to share my gift or my understanding with people who wanted to learn and from all different parts of the world. So for me, you brought us the world together, and you brought storytelling together. So, and you also brought us to, as you said, new era where the world is a smaller place because you don't have to travel. You know, we're here because we didn't have to travel. All of us, I doubt, would be able to be here if we had to travel. So thank you so much for that gift.
Thank you, Judy. I think people tend to forget, I forget, the first 8 years of the Chennai Storytelling Festival were 99% on the ground, only in Chennai. One of those years, Barry, you participated in a video conference, but that was like the only video conference in the festival. So, and likewise, the storytelling by and for adults, that was going for 7 years in a cafe in Chennai. But the last 3 years, because of the pandemic, it shifted to Zoom, and it seems like it always was, but it was not always. It's just the last 3 years. And now that we're into it, it's hard to go back. We had 3 hybrid events this year in Chennai where people could attend in person or by Zoom. And of course, most people attended by Zoom. So I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to charge people more money one way than the other way to encourage them to attend one way or the other way, something like that. But that's how it's going. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I'll just go because I need to rush. My son has his exams. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Eric. And I must tell everybody here who doesn't know Eric for as long as I do, Eric has been talking tech long before Zoom was invented, long before the pandemic. The pandemic was just a blip in his progression from where he was in his technological vision to where he is now. So really, I think he is the father of Zoom festivals, truly. And it's just, to me, this is really a culmination of all kinds of good things. And, it's an annual ritual for me. It's really a pilgrimage. And I come here because I get to meet a lot of people. This time I couldn't attend many of the sessions. I'm hoping that I can. I'm going to ask Eric if I can see some of those recordings. But anyways, what I did want to say is that it was just fabulous meeting each and every one of you. And I just hope this goes on forever. And I hope whatever it is that Eric does from a strategic level doesn't, take us apart. I just hope that we keep coming back and meeting one another and sharing everything from all parts of the world. It's really a melting pot of cultures. So thank you, Eric, for making it happen, and ever indebted to everything that you have brought to the story world. And I don't think we can ever forget that you were the pioneer in technology and stories.
Well, you in Bangalore have been doing a great job too. Chennai and Bangalore are 2 of the most active spots. The thing is, when the Chennai Festival began in 11 years ago, people came from all over India. From Bangalore, from Mumbai, from New Delhi, they came because it was really the only storytelling festival going for a couple of years. But we've been a victim of our own success. Now there's storytelling festivals all over, and there's no need for people to come to Chennai for it. So that's another reason Zoom is handy. Anybody else?
Yes, Eric. Yes, David, you want to go ahead? I was going to exactly say what Aparna was saying. It's like Eric is one man with an amazing foresight. Like I still remember the day at Loyola when said, Ambuja, do you know there's something new called Zoom, when we had no clue about it. And that exactly the moment when Barry connected online. I still have those pictures that we did at Loyola College, the very first hybrid workshop, not a hybrid performance. It was a workshop, and we hardly had people who turning up in person, but I was really amazed. And I was wondering, will this happen? Is it going to be? I had my own doubts, and now when I see the whole world actually getting converted to that kind of this hybrid thing, I mean, I was part of this hybrid thing yesterday, right? So I could see how it has come. I mean, it is doable. Like I was wondering, so Eric knew that this could happen long back. And, it's always like when we conduct our own events, one single event, there's so much related to it, no? Right from posters, planning, marketing, and getting people links and everything. And I have no clue how you do this for, year after year for so many workshops, connecting so many people, and all works. It's like it's actually a one-man show. And you take the pain to call each and every person and talk to that person on the workshop on what we are going to do and discuss, and you try to accommodate all our requests, even the timing, whatever requests we have. So it's like, we just come, perform, do the workshop and go away, and you are doing all the back work. There can be no one other than you, Eric, who can do all these. And as I mentioned in the last CSF also, it said that the world revolves because of benevolence, benevolent people. And thanks for being one of those who keeps the world revolving. Thank you so much, Eric, and thanks to all the workshop presenters.
Now that this phase is over, I'm going to tell you a secret. The last 3 years, anyone who asked to tell a story or lead a workshop in this festival was welcome to do it. Anyone. I got some criticism from some people because they said the storytelling's a little uneven. I said, I don't care. Anybody else?
Thank you so much for your patience. Even I got the opportunity during the pandemic and after pandemic to share stories, and I have learned so many things from your workshops. Thank you and more.
Thank you. David?
So Eric, I just want to appreciate the way that you've done this, the inclusive nature of the Chennai Storytelling Festival. And also I just want to recognize not just who's in the room here on the video, but all the people who participate listening with their cameras switched off for good reasons, and the people who'll be watching this later as a recording, because for me personally, that's one of the great benefits of this kind of very equal platform. So the first weekend of the festival, I co-led a workshop with Amna Berkey. The next weekend, I joined a workshop with Laura Sims from Heathrow Airport, and I couldn't join with video on or microphone on, but it was one of the most rich workshops I've been to. And then I was participating last week when I was in Germany and then in the Netherlands doing storytelling, and here and there I was able to drop in. Sometimes it was, for me, 6 o'clock in the morning. I woke up early, but my wife was next to me, so I couldn't turn my video on, but I could listen in and enjoy stories and workshops. And then today I'm able to join in the room. So there's lots of different kinds of participation which are made possible. So when you say, very often I notice you say, oh, people with their videos off, they might be out doing something else in the garden or in the kitchen or making some soup. Some of us are actually very actively attending, but it's just so inclusive. And for me, knowing that the recording of the workshop I led with Anna Berkey will later be shared and publicly available, is wonderful for me. I can put that on my website. I can say to people, look, this is something I'm excited. I participated in the Chennai Storytelling Festival, the world's biggest free online storytelling festival. Now, I understand things have to change, but wouldn't it be wonderful if we can continue that inclusive spirit, because it's unique. There's the World Storytelling Cafe, which is based here in the UK and in Marrakesh in Morocco. But that we don't do workshops so much as offer platforms for people to share. But this free way of sharing is just so rich. Maybe it could be done with sliding pay scales. I don't know. It's your decision, Eric. But how can we keep this inclusive? That would be my request.
Well, I'm a junior flower child. I was 11 years old in 1968, so I'm doing my best to represent. Barry, Ramya, Shukrita, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Just piggybacking on what David said, that last week I did several sessions in my car, just listening as I was driving down the southeastern coast of the United States. But I also wanted to say, you know, kind of referring back to the workshop that I just did, that decisions are sometimes made based on practicality. And Eric, I think it makes perfect sense. But also sometimes they're made based on gut and emotion. So Eric, you know, if April and May and June come around and you start to feel the rumblings inside of oh, I should be putting together a festival, you know, I would say you don't have to fight it. And on that note, I have always considered you to be the Tom Brady of storytelling producers.
Wow.
And you know what Tom Brady did, right?
Yeah, well,
he retired and then he came back.
uh-huh. Well, I'm not going to retire, but
No, I know that.
it is going to change. But you're the Tom Brady. You and David. All right. Okay, next.
Okay, on a very lighter note, I'm going to betray all my friends when I say this, but let me tell you, Eric, there's a lot of talks that happens in the community about Eric, how can he do it all alone? Has he cloned himself? And we also talk about how Eric has 50 copies of same light blue shirt that he wears every time in every session. And how does he manage to do that? How does he that one man army? And like just Ambu said, he does make an effort to call up, and he'll check, and he'll accommodate change of time, and he remembers everybody by name. We still don't know, and we are still trying to figure out. So there's a lot of discussions that happens behind your back. How does he do that? And do you know he has so many copies of the same plain blue shirt?
Well, I don't have so many copies, but it's a Brooks Brothers classic. Brooks Brothers is a clothing company based in New York, where fathers take their sons there. And my father took me there 60 years ago or 55 years ago. So I have a number of these exact same shirts. I feel once you find something you like, stick with it. But of course, my wife says I'm a terribly, terribly boring dresser. But I say the excitement from me doesn't come from my clothes. It comes from what's inside me.
Now you have a signature style, Eric.
Well, all right. Okay. Who
Yeah, I'm going next, Eric. Yeah, I am. Well, Eric, actually, I want to say that this is my first time at the festival, and it's been such a lovely learning curve. And I know most people here have been here for years, as I'm listening to everybody, and they've known you for so long. But now, even though it's just been my first year, I feel like, I resonate with so many people here, and frankly, thanks to you for bringing everyone together. So it's all because of you, and it's overwhelming, the amount of workshops that I'm sure it's like a big mountain of things, and to organize, it's not a mean feat at all. So thank you so much. I want to just say a lot of gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with a number of the workshops, including Barry's, we went through a long process, because Barry's first inclination was to do this in terms of, is the character innocent or guilty? Should the character be punished? And we went back and forth until we ended up with what Barry you did. And I think what you did was just fantastic. But it was a process.
Can I go next?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so Eric, I really missed meeting you at Gatha when you were in Mumbai. I could not attend that day, but I still remember, 2020, when I was first given a chance. I mean, that was my first year to go, attend Chennai Storytelling Festival. And I was so excited that I was up till 1 a.m. to attend all the workshops. I was like, I am not going to miss any. And whenever I logged in, during my, taking a break maybe in the afternoon or at night, I was amazed to see the same smile and the same tone, the way you welcomed everyone. Yes, so please tell us a story. And I'm like, how this man can be so fresh at, any moment of the day during the day. And I was really amazed with your energy, with your tone, that welcoming tone. I think everybody has already mentioned about your inclusivity, and so thank you so much for that, learning every day from you, and
Thank you.
thank you for this festival.
I love marathon events. For 4 or 5 years, when I was a teenager back in New York, at an art gallery in Soho, there was a marathon reading of a book by Gertrude Stein, The Making of Americans, a 1,000-page book. It took about 48 hours to read. I stayed all 48 hours. I camped out there. I enjoyed it. Waking, sleeping, dreaming. Because people would read for like 20 minutes apiece, and many painters, many actors, a lot of downtown art people came through. I loved it. So I like marathon events. And I got my training from Gertrude Stein, The Making of Americans. Marina?
There's my son. So I just want to say, yes, I attended your festival in Chennai 2016 together with my daughter, and I was so happy to finally come there, because we had been in contact when I was in FEST, Federation of European Storytelling, and I remember how I was struggling sometimes to get the connection on the computer to attend your discussions, interesting discussions about storytelling. And sometimes I managed, sometimes I didn't manage. And just as you say that, I really was thinking, oh, if someone is prepared when the pandemic comes, it is you, Eric. And I was telling everybody here in Sweden about it. And I'm happy. I hope some of the Swedish storytellers has joined this year. But I'm very happy. Last year, I was like, Manisha, she told, I was from 4 o'clock in the morning to the late evening, everything. This year, unfortunately, it wasn't possible, but some of the workshops that I joined, they were really so good. So I feel that I have collected some diamonds, and I'm very happy that I got the opportunity to tell a story. And of course, as David said, it's fantastic to get it recorded, both for ourselves, but also all the workshops, that it's possible to go in and see this again, and that it's a treasure, valuable treasure. So I'm so happy for the work you are doing, Eric, and I really respect what you are telling about now, that you need help and also need somehow economical help. And maybe many of us, I understand the tiredness. I have also been the president of the Swedish Storytelling Network, and I know how tired you can be. So I have had some years to come back, and now I'm slowly coming back with energy. But as we had a discussion last week, I think there are many people in this huge community, worldwide community, that has a lot of skills that maybe could offer their skills, or also we have to open our purse a little bit. So let's stay open for that. And thank you, Eric. It's wonderful what you have done for the storytellers in the world. And thank you, everybody. It's wonderful to see you all and to have a network and to see all people, that to feel the community, either we are very professional or we are in the beginning. It's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Judy? Mic on?
I know I've already spoken, but I just want you to understand 2 things. One, just because you've got a classic wardrobe, okay, doesn't mean you couldn't like the story that David told, where it's about the person, not about the clothes. And you're an amazing person. So I want you to get that. the other thing is when I heard someone say about that it was like what your gift was, not that it wasn't there before, but was able to step into that big void called the pandemic and be a lifeline to so many people in so many different ways, was a gift and a tribute that we need to really recognize. And you need to really recognize, because think about those 3 years with the pandemic, not having the festival, not having the February nonstop storytelling, and all the people that were involved and all the people during the journey to get there.
And,
what a
and
loss.
the first Monday of the month.
Yes, no, and the first Monday of the month, but that gift of something to hold on to that was enriching, that was fulfilling during a time when we were stripped of all our regular connections. We were literally stripped and deprived of them. So I want you to really hear that, okay? Because that was the gift that your talent and who you as a package are provided for so many.
Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. I think that's one thing that should be on my gravestone, that I was ahead of my time. I was ready and I jumped on it.
Yes.
Now I'm not ahead of my time anymore. I'm just a regular Joe. Okay. The recording has stopped.